Welcome back to Morning Express. I'm Sophia Wanuna. It is 8:27 a.m. And for many families or many people living in the streets, the story of their life is all about hopelessness. But Ahadi Boys Home is doing something to change at least some lives of some boys. And joining me in studio this morning is Dan Muge, who's 15 years old and from Ahadi Boys. Also Amy Kroll, who's the assistant program coordinator, and David Chacha, who's also from Ahadi Boys, 18 years old. Welcome all.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us this morning. Amy, I'll begin with you to tell us a little bit about the Ahadi Boys Home, how it came into being, and more about what it is.
Okay, Ahadi Boys Home was originally started back in 1999. It was a home started to bring in street children, specifically boys off the street, to break the cycle of the street life and just to give them hope for a better future. And so we currently reside in Ridgeways Estate, and we have 14 boys, ranging from age 5 all the way up to 18. And they come to the home and we give them an education, a place to live, and try to encourage their dreams and try to give them hope for a better future.
And how is it that you identify those that you enroll into the home?
Usually we usually get them from different other organizations that might not be able to take them. Some organizations don't take them as young as we do. They're referred to us by different people, individuals. Sometimes like our social worker will get news of a boy who's in need of help or something like that.
All right. Dan, tell us your story, how you got to be in the home. Why were you in the streets in the first place?
I was born in the streets with my parents. I found myself in the street when I was just a baby. We used to go find food anywhere, even dustbins. And one day someone came and asked me if I want to go to school, and I said yes. Then they took me to Ahadi Boys Home.
Okay, so all your life you were born there, all your life you were in the street. How would you describe the experience for you every day? How are your days like? How did you spend your days?
Food was like, when you eat this one, you won't find another one tomorrow. So just eat what you get. If you don't have, just stay like that.
Stay hungry. How many were you with your family in the streets? How many were you?
We were 4. Me, my parents, and actually 5. Me, my parents, and my sister and my brother.
Okay. And did you ever have moments where you talked to them about why you're in the streets? Did you ever wonder, did you realize that your situation was different from perhaps other children? Or did you think as a child especially that pretty much everybody was living as you were at the time? Or were you finding it odd?
My parents told me that they were born in the street. They had a home and all that until one day when my grandfather died, and then there was nothing. They had nothing to have.
And so they ended up in the streets. David, what about you?
My life is quite different than his.
Yeah.
Because like I probably from the coast, because that's as far as I can remember. I were in the street with my mom and dad and also my sister, but I didn't know I had a sister. So life was not like good. It was difficult finding food, scavenging here and there. And so
you're also born in the streets?
Yeah.
You were in the streets?
I had a home till my parents couldn't like pay
rent.
Yeah, pay rent and stuff like that, because money was like hard to find and jobs there. So we ended up in the streets, and somehow my mom got sick. My dad used to drink the money he used to get for salary, and I was always sent out to look for what I can get, like go beg on the streets. And like the money I get is not enough for a whole family of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my dad always used to come home drunk, beat my mom, and also beat me. I didn't know of my sister, how her conditions were or where she was. So as life went on, we finally got like a lady who took us in, who took me and my sister in since my dad couldn't take care of me. He got, I don't know what happened to him. And my mom was in the hospital sick without anyone to pay for like the hospital bills. Yeah. So we were taken in by this lady who was married to a white guy. So there was this home while staying in, and yeah, there was other kids in it, like almost like 90. Yeah, and that time I was around like 3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so after life, as I went on, life was good. I got to meet new people, got to meet the other guys. Yeah, and they were friendly because, you know, every time you'd sit around with them, like chat, watch TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously do devotions, and, you know, go
Life
to bed.
got better.
Yeah, life got better.
All right. Amy, they have parents, and but they were still in the streets.
Yeah.
For the boys that you have in the home, what kind of scenarios and backgrounds mostly are they from? And is it situations you look at, especially with the people that you work with, to identify those to take over? What usually is the cause? Because then you have, most of them will have parents. Are they unable to get work? I mean, because yes, there is unemployment, but still...
Yes.
This casual work that people could do, what usually still gets them in the streets?
A lot of the kids that we have, a lot of them are either second generation street kids like Dan, whose parents who have already been on the streets and they were born on the streets. And it's just a cycle, really, that continues. We do try to keep the home strictly for street children, for boys from the street, but we do have specific cases where we take in kids who aren't necessarily from the street. It just depends on their story and how we feel we're led to take them in or not. Most of them do have parents that are still on the street, and it's difficult. It's that cycle of poverty.
Yeah, so it's a cycle you're trying to break with
we're
them,
trying
so
to
that
break with them so that they don't end up.
Okay.
living
And what is it they pick up? So you have them now in the home. So what is it, the process they go through?
The process they go through when they're referred to us, they come into the home. We have them a medical checkup. We try to see where they are academically, whether some of them sometimes have been to school a little bit, some of them haven't been to school at all. So we try to assess where they are academically, and then we kind of go from there. We give them some time to kind of get acclimated to the home, get used to the rules, and then if they're very behind academically, we have a teacher that comes and teaches them and tries to get them up to grade level so that we can send them out to school. And those who have had some education or a little bit, we put them in schools and start the education process for them.
And Dan, being in the streets, what were you thinking about the rest of your life? Thinking about the future? Did you ever have ambition, hope of being something, doing something, or were you just living a day at a time, not caring about tomorrow or whatever it is?
My parents told me that if they one day they get money, they'll take me to school.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for you, so you excited about going to school? Yeah.
Yeah.
When you went to Ahadi home, what did that mean for you? Being there, there was a meal secure. You're not wondering whether you'll get a safe, clean place to sleep.
When I got to Ahadi, the food was ready, so I went. I was so happy to eat. Yeah. And I found other children. I found my cousin there.
Okay.
Where we played together. I like Ahadi.
Yeah. How also was it different from, of course, the street life, David, and to this place where at least there's a pattern? You're assured of food, you're assured you have a place to sleep. There's no this sort of uncertainty that perhaps was in the street life.
Yeah.
Yeah, how different was it?
It was different because, you were obviously secured. You wouldn't have to worry about where the next meal will come from.
Right.
And obviously there was school. Yeah, and obviously now that I was in the home, something told me that I can go ahead and pursue if I wanted to be whatever I can be in the future. So that being in the home just gave me like hope and knowing that I'm going somewhere. Yeah, with schooling and going to see certain people can like boost my confidence in like pursuing the certain career or job I'm looking for. Yeah.
All right. And being in the streets before that, were you hopeful that things would ever change, or did you think that would just be your life forever? Having seen your family, your parents, living in the streets with you, were you hopeful that things would change, or did it just happen and you're like, oh, okay, things have changed?
No, it was like I didn't expect of my life changing. I just thought it would just be miserable or just living like that. I didn't think there was hope because there was no signs of hope until I lost all hope that there's ever a future for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what have you been able to learn so far? What is it you've been able to pick from the Ahadi home? How different are you now with the boy who was in the streets before?
Totally different because now I go to school. I'm like in high school right now, about to finish and after now that I'm in high school and there's a career I'm pursuing, now that I can focus, I can be able to focus. My mind doesn't wander unless sometimes.
You're not worried about the next one.
Yeah. or where am I going to go home to?
Right.
Yeah. And because they're always here to, if you are worried or something's wrong, you can go and talk to them. Yeah.
All right. Amy, and I guess you said right now you have about 19 boys?
We have 14.
14?
Yes.
And I guess keeping the numbers small then helps you focus attention on each and every one of them to the specific needs. One would wonder then, where do you also get funding to do all these things, to educate, to feed, to house them, to ensure that their well-being is taken care of?
Yes. Well, part of the reason for keeping it small is, like you said, so that we can focus and be able to really help the boys individually. Also because our funds don't allow us to be much bigger than that. But all of our funds we're funded by donations, whether from individuals or churches or businesses, and everything from finances to people donate food, people donate clothes, and things like that.
Okay. And as we bring this to a close, Dan, what do you aspire to become now? What grade are you in now?
8.
Class 8.
Yeah.
What do you aspire to become or to do?
I want, when I grow up,
Yes, when you grow up.
I want to be a runner and to run in Kenya's marathon.
Nice. So have you been running? Have you been doing your exercises? Have you won?
Huh?
Do you have competitions? Have you won any in the school, in the home?
In the home, but not in those standards yet. I don't know.
Not, yeah? They should get you in one of those. So
I've
when
gone.
you, yeah?
I've gone to one of those.
You have?
Yeah.
And how did you perform?
I performed good according to my age.
That is very good to add that, yeah. So you want to be a runner, you want to be able to represent Kenya. Why else do you think you want to do that? Is this something you've always loved to do?
Yeah,
Okay.
I like running, so.
And now that you're in the home, do you still keep in touch with your parents? Do you know about the rest of your family?
Yeah, when I close school, I go to visit them
Where are they?
in Eastleigh, in the streets.
Okay. So how does that make you feel that you have this sort of security and you're in the home, but they're still in the streets? It's sad.
hard, yeah.
Yeah? You want to work hard and help them out, isn't it?
Yeah.
For you, David, as well, what do you want? What do you aspire?
I aspire in computers
Yeah.
and like work in the studios. Yeah.
What do you want to do exactly? You want to be a computer geek?
Sort of both, because
Okay.
like I'm so into studios and computers.
You love them.
Yeah, I love. That's what I love, and that's why I want to pursue that. Yeah.
All right. Do you still keep in touch with your family? When do you get to see them?
Actually, I don't get
You
to them,
don't.
and since I hear that I haven't had any news about them, I've heard that even if I had my parents still, there's like to get their location. I don't know. It's not. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you hope to
Yeah. I hope
get a
to someday.
good life for yourself and help them out at some
Yeah.
point, yeah? Amy, what is the message to most Kenyans? Because, for regular folk, you walk in the streets, you see these street families, you want to ignore them, and especially when you see the parents, you're thinking, they should have been somewhere working. Why are they not working? Why are they making their kids be out here begging? What would your message be? What would you want to say?
I think my message would be that, sometimes when you're driving down the streets of Nairobi and you see street children or street people, the important thing is to realize everyone has a story.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why, they're there. There's a story behind that, and just to be aware and to have compassion and do what you can do to help.
To do what you can do to
Absolutely,
help.
yeah.
And how can people help? If somebody's watching and want to perhaps give some money, food, something.
Yeah, you can contact us. We have a website. It's www.ahadiboys.org. You can also find us on Facebook, and there's information there about donating and how to contact us and our phone number and everything.
All right, excellent. Amy, thank you. Dan, nice to
Thank
meet you.
you.
And David as
Thank
well. Wish you the very best. Go make Kenya proud. I hope to be seeing you and cheering you on and saying, I know him, I studied him once. So all the best with that. And we'll definitely be cheering you on.